Hey, is Cory Booker still talking, or did he wrap that up?
You know what? I think he wrapped that up. He finally had to use the restroom after. That was impressive, by the way. We talk a lot, but 25 hours
That was kind of ridiculous. Yeah.
Without using the bathroom. That's even the biggest thing about that is no pee breaks.
No pee break. Yeah, you can't leave. You get 2 glasses of water.
That's it.
And I guess he spent Sunday like dehydrating himself.
Yes. Yeah, he hadn't eaten since Friday, and he hadn't drank anything since Sunday because he wanted to be dehydrated. And you don't want to dump. You don't want to dump. You don't want just. So he made sure.
You got no juice.
Well, somehow he did it.
I'm
25 freaking out. I will say too, off the hop. Welcome Twitch. Welcome everyone on Facebook. Welcome and everyone on YouTube. We are back to the usual time, which is nice. And I also do want to say, I believe we are tariff-free on this show. I'm not quite certain. There's a lot of them that were levied just a couple hours ago.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're being tariffed right now at 25% for every word we say. I don't know, but I believe we're tariff-free.
We have our attorneys looking into it right now, and we'll get back to you. But we feel like we are, but you never know. You never know. It seems to be happening with everybody. It has been a week here in the old United States. It's one of those things where just everything that should be, I don't know. What is this? I don't even think, I look at something like this and I go, are we really, is it really happening? Are we in a weird dream? It doesn't seem like it's possible that what is happening is happening.
I have never taken a hallucinogenic before, Johnny, but you're right. When you just put those visuals on the screen, it looks like you just took some shrooms or took the electric Kool-Aid acid test.
Yeah.
Because you have the world's richest man wearing a piece of freaking cheese on his head, dancing around like an idiot. And then in the other picture, you have Kid Rock in the Oval Office. And I love this. This is from The Daily Show. Dressed like a piñata filled with cigarettes.
I will say, Kid Rock, though, still more appropriately dressed than John Fetterman.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. If Fetterman had worn that into the inauguration, okay, I would have given him a pass. Not a hoodie and some shorts, Fetterman. Take your fashion advice from Kid Bob Rock.
Yeah. Yeah, and to think just like 3 weeks ago, President Zelensky was getting hassled for not wearing a suit. And this is what's standing in the Oval Office right now. So let's start.
You don't like to stand on after that, do you?
Yeah, no, not really. Not that it matters. But let's watch this moment with Kid Rock in the Oval Office and break it down.
By the way, quickly before we go any further, go back to where you were going to start that video. Do we need the Gulf of America at every press conference?
Does that need to be down.
Does that need to be the backdrop?
He is very, very proud of that. Very proud of that.
It's like the person during 5 years ago when stuff was happening that had the same stupid ass green screen to be like, hey, I know we're all stuck in our house, but not me. Look at me. I'm in the Bahamas. Well, maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm the Great Barrier Reef. Just knock it off. We get it. It's fine. You made your point. Don't eat it everywhere. Continue.
Maybe it's there in case he forgets, while he's giving a speech, he can look over and go, America, Gulf of America. Yeah, because we're not.
You know what? You point Johnny on that one. Point Johnny. I may be mistaken on that.
Let's go to the Oval Office.
A friend of mine, Kid Rock, sometimes referred to as Bob. I know him as Bob.
He's in the in circle.
Yeah. Has anyone in the history of ever been like, please welcome to the stage, Bob?
Bob.
Like, who refers to him as Bob besides the president? He's like, some people refer to him as Bob. Please welcome Bob to the stage. My name is Bob. Bob the bag. I mean, what in the hell is going on there?
What is his? Yeah, he's got a goofy.
Ritchie?
Yeah, Robert James Ritchie is his name. He's got 3 first names. Is how he. That's how he.
Judging by the way he was attired in the White House, that checks.
Yeah, exactly. So Don and his friend Bob are standing in the White House.
Don and Bob.
He's been a good friend for a long time, many years, and he's been after something that is for the good of a lot of people, including, in particular, the public, and having to do with ticket sales and scalping and all of the gouging that you have been reading about.
He's not as good off the cuff anymore, is he?
No. He's stumbling to just kind of get what he needs to see.
Something's different.
You can see it in real time. He kind of like, and he goes back to it's the same go-tos as transitions, like a lot of people, big people, but it's slower to get there when he's trying to go off the cuff.
It does feel a lot more jumbled, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Gotten worse and worse with time. And I didn't know too much about it, but I checked it out, and it is a big problem. And
anyone who's bought a concert ticket in the last decade, maybe 20 years, no matter what your politics are, knows that it's a conundrum. You buy a ticket for $100. By the time you check out, it's $100.
Whoa!
Do you hear that?
Go back. That's a big drop from Bob. Dropping conundrum in there. It's not just a problem, ladies and gentlemen. I am in the Oval Office. This is a conundrum now.
Yeah. And if you watch, the president looks over his shoulder and says, "Is that on the map?"
I tariff conundrum 25%. Too much fentanyl coming from the border of conundrum.
You see here. Whoops. I pushed a button. Hang on.
That's all right.
There we go.
By the way, this whole thing.
Frank's right. He is definitely.
He is. Yeah. By the way, this whole thing, as you're hearing, is because he signed an executive order about ticket scalping. That's why Kid Rock was there.
Politics are knows that it's a conundrum. You buy a ticket for $100. By the time you check out, it's $170. You don't know what you can charge for it. But more importantly, these bots, they come in to get all the good tickets to your favorite shows you want to go to, and then they're relisted immediately for sometimes a 400% or 500% markup.
God, there's something funny that happens whenever somebody else is talking. Trump just starts to zone out. He just is like, this isn't my show anymore, and I don't like it, and I'm bored with you.
It's not for me. Even with the shiny colors that Kid Rock is wearing, can't even keep his attention. He's just off doing whatever he's doing, just staring at the Gulf of America.
Yeah. Just, I scrolled back about 10 seconds there, and just keep your eye on the president while Kid Rock is talking. I know it's hard because he's got such a distracting.
He's got Hulk Hogan's old outfit when he was Thunder Lips from the Rocky movie.
But just watch Trump, and you can see him just like daydreaming.
They come in to get all the good tickets to your favorite shows you want to go to, and then they're relisted immediately for sometimes a 400% or 500% markup. And the artists don't see any of that money. And, ultimately, I think this is a great first step.
He's gone.
He's done.
I'd love down the road if there would be some legislation that we could actually put a cap on the resale of tickets. And I'm a capitalist and a deregulation guy, but they've tried this in some places in Europe, and it seems to be the only thing that's
all right.
Us as
all
artists
right.
All
right, Bob. They're not wrong. I mean, the way tickets get sold is pretty insane. The problem is this is an executive order. It's not a law. It's not going to change anything.
Right. And no offense, but like even his writing of his name is more like he's trying to figure out a maze than actually writing his name.
He's got to show mommy his homework.
Yeah.
So
that he does. Yeah. He drifts. He just kind of was in and out there. He's not even paying attention to what Bob's saying. He's just like looking away, looking at something else, being like, what's going on here? I'm out.
Yeah. Now, if you want some action, well, we go to this guy.
This idiot.
Do you think that in his mind he looks like this? Is that what is that what he's going for here?
I believe he is. He thought he was the general in charge of the cheese state, and he said, I have the biggest cheese head, so I, in turn, am in charge here. I am the Patton of Wisconsin.
I think that's what he thinks he's doing, absolutely. So there was a big election for a Supreme Court justice in Wisconsin. Yesterday, Elon Musk spent about $25 million and got squat for it.
Yeah.
Got nothing.
Big squadoosh. 2 people got $1 million in Wisconsin, thinking that I didn't know voting had become like Publishers Clearinghouse, where you just send in a ballot and randomly this idiot shows up at your doorstep, knocking on the door. Hey, you won $1 million.
And he couldn't be a more awkward human being when he's trying to have fun. I would imagine if you sat him down and talked about, I don't know, science or batteries or rockets or something, it might be interesting. But he just is not. He's not the party person you want at your party.
No.
Everybody.
Good start. Good
Thanks
start.
for
Hey,
coming.
everybody.
What do you think of my hat?
What are you, Carrot Top? Starting with bits? Hey, everybody, thanks for coming. What do you think of this, huh?
Even people who are born and raised in Wisconsin, sitting in Lambeau Field wearing that look stupid.
Correct.
There's no way.
You are correct.
Yeah. But these people in the audience are giving a rousing applause. But at some point, what we're going to see, watch what he does next.
All right, I'm gonna sign the hat and I'm gonna throw it out.
How much would that go for on eBay? A signed Elon Musk cheese head. Does anybody want that? Like, is that a conversation starter? Like that immediately, if I walk in your home and you're like, you never guess what I bought on eBay. I got the signed Elon Musk cheese. I will be seeing bid you adieu, sir.
Yeah.
It's insane. Yeah, it's really wild. So, like, I mean, it was inevitable that at least a few Soros operatives would be in the audience.
That's a maniacal laugh, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Some protesters show up and he says it's a Soros operative because we're still singing that old song.
Yeah, by the way, I also, if you'll recall, Johnny, back when we were in a former time on the radio. Well played, Frank. Well
That's
said,
true.
sir.
That's right. He's got 4 more
kids.
kids.
The only milk product he's throwing out into the crowd. But no, when he first burst on the scene, we had the talk of, is he a possible evil genius?
Mm-hmm.
He had those. He has always reminded me of the character Hank Scorpio from The Simpsons. If anyone doesn't remember that episode, Hank Scorpio came in and hired Homer away from the nuclear plant, brought him to this utopia. Everything was amazing. He treated everyone super well. And come to find out, the project they were working on was basically a bomb to end civilization.
Right.
Because he wanted to take over the world. And I always got that vibe from this guy.
Yeah. And I mean, this isn't a hot take, and I know other people have said it, but it's really amazing to me to think that, I don't know, 24 months ago, Elon Musk was a hero of the left. He was saving the environment. He was inventing these batteries and these electric cars. And the conservatives loathed this guy. The conservatives were the ones keying the Teslas in the parking lot and smashing the windows and cutting the cable off of the thing while people were charging. And like nothing ever happened. Suddenly, everybody just sort of changed places and said, no, I'm the one who's going to be vandalizing all the cars, and I hate Elon Musk. And it's just like, how did this, that's amazing to me.
Yeah.
With no sense of irony. No sense of irony.
It was like the cha-cha side, crisscross, and everyone just kind of went across, and then everybody clap your hands. It's like, you're right. In 2 years, it just flipped like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just, and neither side will acknowledge that they were that person at one point.
Right. That's the problem.
That's what's so bananas to me.
Yeah, we all just like have denialism, like, oh, this never happened. It's like, I can't say. Well, you used to think you used to tune into the SpaceX launches. Oh, now it's like,
It was cool.
Just admit it. Just admit it. There's some cool things this guy has done. Wearing a cheese head, signing a throw to the crowd, and trying to buy an election. Not one of those cool things.
No, that's not. He's no longer cool. He just, no matter what you do, he's lost whatever cool edge he had. There's more to that video, but I'm bored with it.
Right. I was going to say, well, speaking of not cool, the next thing also I never thought as cool. And I'm glad someone's finally doing something about this. It's finally getting neutered the way it should.
Idaho governor has signed a bill criminalizing truck nuts.
Thank goodness.
And it came up in a bill that was about public indecency. Governor Brad Little signed a law that criminalizes
I don't know if Governor Little can criminalize giant nuts. I think he got to wait for the next. I think he got to wait for the next governor. Governor Little criminalizing giant nuts seems a little. I don't know.
So it's House Bill number 270. It's the Indecent Exposure Law, which already bans the public exposure of genitals. That includes female breasts, male breasts altered to look like female breasts, artificial breasts, toys or products that resemble genitals.
Oh, wow. What are they going to do for bachelorette parties in Idaho?
Right. Well,
I mean,
you can have them, but you can't have them out in public.
Well, what's the point? Isn't that the whole point of the bachelorette party, is to drink their drinks from penis straws at a bar?
Yeah, not no mo.
Not in Idaho.
So one person says, let me see, who is this? Senator Brian Lenny from Nampa, Idaho, said the bill deals with a real problem of people exposing themselves. I've heard arguments on this bill that said somehow this sexualizes breasts. I don't think we need a bill to do that. I think it's been happening since Garden of Eden, and it's not going to happen. I'm sorry, it's not going to continue, and it's going to continue to happen forever. I read that whole damn thing wrong.
Well, he's just saying the obvious, right?
Yes.
But you probably shouldn't be. I mean, the breast is one thing, but the genitals you probably shouldn't be whipping out in public. Call me old-fashioned, right? But that probably should be illegal in some way. I don't need to see it. I don't need pantsless Fridays on the streets of whatever city you're in.
Meanwhile, Senate Minority Leader Melissa Wintrow argued that the bill violates the First Amendment. I have a right to show you my plastic balls on my truck.
Is that a free speech thing? She said, there's no speech involved when it's just nuts on a truck. I don't know, but I'll hear her out.
She says the bill will allow people to call police over dangling faux scrotums.
By the way, great band, Lollapalooza. It's third stage, dangling faux scrotums.
By the way, that's the phrase that pays when you call in. If we happen to say dangling faux scrotums, be the ninth caller at 707-4-MONKEY.
And you'll get your own set of truck nuts. Yeah.
She says, what's that?
Comment, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, wherever you're watching from as well.
She says the bill would allow people to call the police over dangling faux scrotums hung on truck hitches, commonly called truck nuts. She says they're gross, they're offensive, and kids on the road see them. So why wouldn't the police get a call and say, that offends me, pull it off the truck?
Because pull off those nuts.
Yeah, because now this bill will allow it, and I talked to police, and they in fact said they would come yank your truck nuts off your truck.
Cops are going to yank your nuts.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
I guess they had to enhance this because previously men who were maybe going through a gender transition and were taking hormones, and now they're starting to get breasts. Men exposing breasts wasn't illegal, so now they've added that to it. What do you do about the the big old fatty fats with their big old fatty fat boobs?
Oh, I don't know. That's interesting. I never thought of that. The man boobs.
Yeah, you got a guy out on the beach with a big old. I mean, some of those are enormous.
He's large. Oh yeah, some of those are plump. Yeah. As that were. I don't know what to do with the moob man.
The image that I was sharing with our great audience, comes from Etsy. You can buy truck nuts on Etsy.
That's a niche. $40.
$40.
$40 for those nuts? That's 20 a ball.
Rev up your sense of humor with big truck nuts, the ultimate gag gift for any bachelor party, birthday bash, or hilarious white elephant exchange. Surprise your friends and watch their faces light up with laughter when they see these eye-catching fake balls hanging proudly from your truck hitch. See, here they are. Hanging low, riding high.
What's the second catchphrase down there?
If it ain't swinging, you ain't winning.
That's terrible.
That is the shittiest slogan I've ever heard in my life. And I write ads for a living.
Correct. How much you want those guys are the same. Oh my! Why does it have to be so veiny?
Jeez.
And by the way, why is it bald?
What do you want? Hairy nuts bouncing around on there? Jesus.
Yes, I want realistic. This is Etsy. This is for the art, Johnny. Someone just phoning it in.
Yep. These nuts are heavier, wrinklier, and make an even bigger statement. Don't miss out on this playful decor that promises to keep you and others entertained.
Now, how? How is that entertained?
I don't know.
Has anyone in the history of ever, and call in, or you can comment, dangle and bang. What? What does that even mean?
Real trucks roll with balls on.
Another terrible slogan. I don't get it. Maybe it's not for me, but I don't know anyone who's been like, oh man, I was about to drive into a bridge abutment because life was treating me pretty badly. But these balls hanging from the back of that truck saved me. I got quite the tingle in my nether regions because of it.
Yeah. So we thank the governor of Idaho for bravely deciding that, hey, you know what? Enough is enough. We want no part of your stupid... I don't know, man.
Governor Little. I just wish it was somebody else.
I do too. Like what?
Yeah. I'm trying to think.
Supreme Court Justice Sack?
Yeah, exactly. Or Governor Neutered or something along those lines, or, Clippy. Something, I don't know. Yeah. Better than Governor Little, that's for sure.
Well, we have immature behavior going on all over the country right now. And let's go to the other side of the nation in New Jersey.
Yes. This particular police chief Robert Farley, has been accused by 5 of his officers of turning the department into, quote, animal house, rife with harassment against his employees, including incidents of him defecating on the floor. So he just, to show a sign of power, I guess, just pulled one down and ripped out a growler, right? Yeah, as you see, pulled his pants down and defecated on the floor in front of the entire staff. Be like, this is a dirty job, and I'll show you how dirty it is.
Like he's governor, like he's President Johnson.
Right. Exactly, with my bunghole. So he defecates on the floor. He's also accused of spiking the office coffee pot with Adderall and Viagra.
Good Lord.
Because when you go out there against criminals, the one thing you really want is a rager for 4 hours as you sit there and have your own nightstick and a secondary nightstick, maybe to knock somebody down or trip them up as they're fleeing the scene. And if that weren't enough...
That's not really even a good gag, by the way. That's not really I get like when they put Malox or some sort of laxative in there.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't think about that. Like,
you have a boner.
Haha, we're all seeing your boner now. Look at not only that, but anyone who drinks a coffee. So you have like 8 people with boners going around on the force. Like, right. What's the point of that? And he also is accused of jabbing one officer in the penis with a hypodermic needle.
What's wrong with
I guess to try to take away the blood from the boner coffee. I don't know why he's doing that.
Gosh.
On top of all of that, if that weren't enough there, Johnny, the harassing didn't stop just at the poo-filled Viagra coffee-induced hypodermic needle in the penis precinct. Apparently, he would also send officers packages to their homes containing sex toys and gay pride flags.
This guy is like a regular stand-up comedian, isn't he?
This is a guy that would have truck nuts. This is a guy that would order all those Etsy truck nuts for every one of the cruisers.
He would attach them to the lights on the top of the car so that the nuts spin around.
Swing around. Yeah, exactly. I'm not quite sure exactly what he's doing. It looks like he's shaving his own arm.
He is
in this particular picture.
He's shaving his arm hair onto the police chief's desk as a prank.
Why is that a prank?
I don't know.
I've represented thousands of police officers over the years, said Attorney General Toscano. I've never seen anything like this. There's no other way of saying it.
This is really goofed up.
Yeah, it really is. He earns more than $228,000 a year. He heads a police force of more than 140 uniform officers. And the allegations were first reported by New Jersey Advanced Media. So yeah, there's a court case. He's saying I didn't do anything wrong. This is fun.
Wow.
This is the way it is to be a cop. Crap guilty, on the floor. Huh? That's what he's saying. He's like, no way. It's not me. Yeah. So the communal coffee pot. He also left feces on the bathroom floor. Oh, apparently, with the internet of having someone unknowing So the reason why he did it, by the way, why he pooped in front of everyone, because you're right. This guy's a stand-up comedian. According to one of the officers, he did that with the intent of having someone unknowingly step in it. So it wasn't a power trip. It was, I'm going to shit on the floor here, and it's going to be hilarious when an unknowing officer or perp walks in and steps in my crap that I just left right here on the floor. Wow. How does this guy still have a freaking job?
How did he get to the point of having a job? And that's one of those things where you go, that's true, all right, too. I get it. You're in 7th grade and you do, you poop in a bag and light it on fire and we all have a good laugh. And then you evolve and you don't do that anymore. But Correct. Somehow he made it through the academy. He did, he probably had I'm sure he's got some schooling under his belt.
Right. To get to the level of chief, right. He's not just a regular officer. Like, this guy moved through the ranks. Yeah. How did he make it through that high, knowing that he had the propensity for crapping on floors, Viagra and coffee pots, and hypodermic needles and penises?
Yeah, that's really incredible. That is one of the nuttiest stories I've heard in a long time.
Just razor blading shaving your arms over somebody else's desk. What an idiot.
We like to think better of our men and women in uniform, but even over in the UK, we've had an incident where Royal Air Force personnel beat up a Paddington statue for some reason. I don't even know.
What has Paddington ever done to you? Look at that statue. That's a cute photo op. It's just eating some marmalade, minding its own friggin' business, but someone's got a problem with Paddington, I'm sure.
Yeah, 2 men who had been drinking, here we'll watch the video while I tell you the story, kicked and yanked on a statue of Paddington.
Was that a kick? That was the worst kick I've seen in a very long time.
A judge chastised the duo for being the antithesis of everything Paddington stands for. So the judge wasn't particularly upset that these guys were vandalizing this statue that's just sitting there. Instead, he's upset that he wasn't living up to Paddington, right?
Yeah, the spirit of Paddington. Yeah, I understand that. That makes some sense to me.
The monkey phone is ringing.
I see that. We got the monkey phone icon up there. I can't wait to hear what this call is all about. It's probably that New Jersey police commissioner.
You're on with Mike and Molson. Hello.
Hi. Limerick.
Limerick time. This is our poet laureate.
He's
got his beret on. He's got his notepad in front of him. He's been writing limericks since we began the live stream.
No. Off the top of my head.
Hit it.
Okay. I'm going to poop on your floor, and there's something more. I'll shave my arm, but don't be alarmed. Blame it on Al Gore.
Way to bring it home. Poor Lori, ladies and gentlemen. Way to bring it home.
Good night.
I love that.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you for knocking it out of the park there with little notice. We appreciate that. That is our official poet laureate chiming in. All right, so back to these two maniacs.
I understand what the judge is saying, because Paddington is a sign of caring and hope and just a mild-mannered character, and these two dopes are trying to rip him off his bench.
Daniel Heath and William Lawrence, both 22 and in the Royal Air Force, they're engineers.
Can you go back to the beginning while you're telling it? Because that kick is the worst thing ever.
Did I miss it? Was it before that?
Yeah, right. When they first walk up. Continue. So these two Royal Air Force idiots,
he says,
you see molesting Paddington.
Paddington is a beloved a cultural icon with adults and children alike, said the judge, Judge Sam Guzzi. I like this car drives by. It's like, I don't want to get involved. I don't know what's going on here.
I'm not quite sure, but these guys have a thing going on. I'm just going to roll right by.
This isn't. Yeah, that's none of my business.
Not my problem. Not my problem.
He's trying to. There we go. Oh, he's down.
It can't get back up hardly.
Yeah.
Oh, now what we're going to do.
So now they finally figured out how to pry it apart, and they walk. But they can only get half of Paddington, and so they walk off and they just leave the other half of Paddington nailed to the. Yeah, that's
poor Paddington.
People woke up in the morning, and that's what they saw when they found that. And I guess this is one of 22 Paddingtons that have been installed as an art project around London. Prosecutor said the men were drunk during the escapade, captured by surveillance camera just before 2 a.m. They spirited away half of the statue in a taxi before returning to the base, where the Paddington was later found in one of the guy's cars.
How do you, if you're the taxi driver, do you not question half a Paddington coming into your... I mean, I guess a fare is a fare at 2 a.m, and you've probably seen worse, but don't you go, what's with the Paddington, guys?
Yeah.
What?
Maybe he was a Crime Stopper tipster.
Could be.
The pair admitted criminal damage and said they would each pay about $3,500 for repairs to the statue. The Royal Air Force said they would consider the court findings, but any discipline would not be disclosed because it's a private matter. Come on.
What?
We all need to know what happens here.
You know what needs to happen here? They need to be pasted in orange marmalade and thrown into a bear enclosure and see how much of them makes it through.
The judge even noted that the label on Paddington's coat says, "Please look after this bear," and they did not do that. So it wasn't really a matter of vandalism. It was a matter of not living up to the standards that Paddington. He represents kindness, tolerance, and promotes integration and acceptance in our society. Your actions were the antithesis of everything Paddington stands for.
Amen. And here comes this person going, not my problem.
None of my business. I'm just going to move on down the road then.
Heave. Go. Have at. Heave. Ho.
Come on. Almost got it. Almost got it. Son of a...
the other guy. The other guy has no want to be involved. The guy who originally threw the worst kick in the world just watches his friend biff it, and he's like, do we really need this? The other guy's, no, we need it. So bad.
Gotta happen.
So bad.
Speaking of people of poor behavior, my God.
Oh, this poor woman. This lady, as you can see by the headline, suffered through a nightmare scenario on this flight. This was a flight that was going from, I want to say it was going to Milan from New York. Yes, from JFK to Milan. This happened last year, but she is now brought the lawsuit against American Airlines. So what transpires is she's in she is in first class, all right? And according to the court filings, the guy referred to as John Doe began acting inappropriately after consuming several glasses of champagne. So according to her testimony, they're in first class. This guy gets on a plane and just like, hit me with the champagne and keep it coming. So he just starts downing glasses of champagne.
Worst idea. Worst. The reason I don't know why they give free flowing booze to people in first class. Give them a couple of drinks because they're flying first class. That's fine.
Right.
But this unlimited supply, this is asking for trouble.
It is, because after that, she then noticed him grabbing his groin area and rubbing his genitals through his trousers shortly after the shortly after the cabin lights dim. So he's got a good whacking buzz going on where he's just like, hey, I wonder if I can do something here. The lights are dim. You know, I'm in the airplane. Got a lady next to me. I'm going to do my thing. So from there, he then apparently, according to legal documents, her complaint states that the man continued to then unzip, go to town for approximately 60 minutes without a single crew member walking through the premium economy. So it's not even first class, it's premium economy section. Right. So he starts rubbing on the outside and goes, hey, you know what? I'm gonna unzip.
It's dark. Everybody's asleep. Let's go.
An hour? How many champagnes did this guy have?
Yeah, that's a good point.
After about 25 minutes, you just shut it down and go, well, nothing's happening here. I might as well just wrap things up. But for an hour of just that over and over, after the man finally ceased, she left. That's what it says.
Cease.
Yeah. She left her seat and approached a flight attendant, only met with indifference. The staff member allegedly told her, quote, there's nothing really I can do, and proposed she move to a seat in the economy class. She paid for an upgrade, and now this guy has been wanking it or trying to for an hour. Right. She had to see this lit biscuit going on over there. And they say, nothing I can do. Even more disturbingly, the flight attendant is also said to remark, men just do stuff like that.
They
adding
do?
That her own husband.
Who? Name 4 other people who do that ever.
By the way, she said men just do stuff like that, adding that her own husband also engaged in such behavior. A statement which, according to the suit, deeply shocked and offended the woman. The airline staff allegedly failed to speak to the man in question or file a report about the sexual misconduct. The lawsuit claims the crew's response made her feel as though she was expected to endure such grotesque misconduct, perpetuating the dangerous notion that women should tolerate male predation as a part of everyday life.
That's incredible.
She contends that her being Arab played a role in the dismissive treatment she received. The flight attendant did not treat her a report of John Doe whacking it next to her as a sexual assault. She's now suing American Airlines for negligence, discrimination, and intentional infliction of emotional distress.
It sounds painful to me.
An all out, yeah. It does.
I don't suspect he had any sort of tools or assistance of any sort of
unless he had leftover unless he had leftover champagne he used, and it's like popping something, popping bottles, and popping it. I don't think that works either. But if he's that inebriated that he's like, I'm just going to rub the crotch, and by the way, that's just what men do. No, it's not. To your point, no, it's not. Although the fact that she said my husband does, what? Your husband has gotten a little too comfortable on airplanes.
Yeah, no kidding.
If he thinks. I get real jittery. Whenever turbulence hits, I just have to whip it out and go to town for an hour. It really calms me.
Do you think he was thinking, you know what, I don't want to bother her and ask, if she can move so I can get up and go to the bathroom and do whatever I need to do? Do you think maybe he was just trying to...
He was trying to be a gentleman?
Yeah, he was trying to be a gentleman.
I don't want to interrupt her. She looks so comfortable over there. Yeah. And you know what? And this may take a while. I don't want to be in the bathroom for an hour. I'm just gonna do my thing.
She's watching Severance, and I don't want to interrupt.
This is a really critical part. So you know what? I'm going to be a gentleman and just continue at it over here, lubrication free, and just doing my thing. This lady gets free flights for the rest of her entire life, right?
Thank you.
That's the least. That's the least they can do for her. The least they can do.
We have an update on some bad behavior that we reported to you last week. The statue of Molly Malone.
The cart or the tart with a cart.
The tart with a cart, yeah. Over in the UK, who was, as you can see, people just couldn't help themselves. But
honk, honk.
Yeah, they saw her and they went, you know what? There's nothing I can do here. I gotta just rub. And they did. And rub they did.
And then there was a person in college that said, "Hey, we need to do something about this." She wanted him to raise the statue higher so that the breasts weren't as accessible to people.
So yeah, she went to the city council and said, "You got to do something." And they were talking about raising the statue, and they said no, that might be risky, fall over, make it, or people would be climbing up Molly Malone just to rub her boobs, and it would just make it worse. So their solution is to place a steward stationed next to Molly Malone to discourage people from touching it.
So a cop has got a Molly Malone duty now?
Some kind of...
Nope. Move along.
Some kind of Molly, I don't know if it's a cop or just a personal security guard or something. They're also going to recover the parts of the statue that have become discolored by the touching. Dublin City Council do not want anyone to touch any work of art, whether indoor or outdoor, to avoid damage and costly repairs. The low plinth height and space around the statue allows crowds to congregate easily, and the Molly Malone statue is a feature of tours given by guides, and people just can't help themselves, and so they're going to try for a week to put a steward out there.
For a week? Great.
Yeah.
So for a week, no one's going to do anything, and then when that steward leaves, it's going to be honk honk time again, especially if you repaint it.
Yeah. I know. Now people have more work to do.
Right, exactly.
And so they're going to maybe put a plaque up there explaining who Molly Malone is, maybe making it not so tempting to rub her breasts. I don't know.
If someone can rip Paddington in half, they sure as hell aren't going to give a damn about Molly Malone and her jugs.
Yeah, I can't imagine that would be sufficiently discouraging. I mean, you can't be out there 24 hours a day, can you? Is that what they're going to do?
I mean, you can do 8-hour shifts. You can hire 3 stewards. But if you're already telling people it's going to be a week, then people are just not going to honk for a week. And once those stewards are gone, then they're going to come back with a vengeance.
Wouldn't it be cheaper just to put plexiglass around her or something?
Probably, or some type of barrier that you can't get to her. Just put
give her electric boobs. No, boo.
I like that. I like that. The electric boobs. That would be fantastic to see drunk idiots trying to honk and then get shot off of there.
Yeah, at least we'd get a good laugh out of it.
Correct. That could be. We would get some Twismo, which we'll get to later on here in the program. This week in Slo-Mo, we'd get some great video for that.
Stay tuned for that. But before we get there, we've got these two guys who are actually before we get there, we got another caller calling in on the monkey line.
Monkey line.
Monkey phone is hot tonight. We appreciate everyone who's chiming in. Let's go back to the hotline and see who we got. Yes, go right ahead, sir. And this is our poet laureate has returned now for a second round of poetry for us tonight.
I think everybody knows that we all rub Lincoln's nose, but it might be that it's to just rub her tits. And, well, that's how it goes.
All right. Yeah, okay. Thank you, Poet Laureate. Appreciate.
No, he did it the right way. The late show is always more blue than the early show.
Oh, okay.
And make sure you tip the waitstaff. 2 appearances in one show.
Yeah, no.
We are rolling.
Why? How did we get so
We're
lucky?
rolling about these two idiots from Illinois suing OnlyFans.
And they've got an interesting gripe. So as the headline says, they're suing because they realize they might not actually be talking to models. And they are saying that they were defrauded because the creators allegedly weren't interacting directly with them, but instead employing agencies to impersonate the models they thought they were speaking to. So you got these sexy models on OnlyFans, and they're popular, and people are chatting them up, and it's too much chatting for one nude girl to do.
Yeah, when some of the accounts I read had 700,000 followers, do you think anyone has that amount of time to respond to every DM at that point? Have these individuals never been in a chat room? Or, I mean, it's usually if you're chatting with someone, no offense, but I've seen enough movies and stuff. When you're chatting with, it's not usually the person you think it is on the other side of that chat.
Well, and that was really how they did their detective work. They realized that with 700,000 fans, there was really no way that a single individual couldn't be actually having this conversation. One of the plaintiffs says that he created the account in order to engage in friendly conversations with models and share photographs of his cooking creations.
Yeah, you know what his cooking creations are? Spotted dick. I'm pretty sure he's not showing them a delicious sourdough, if you know what I'm saying.
I laughed too hard at that.
You did, but I'm glad you did.
But I just wasn't expecting that. By exercising its discretion to enrich itself while participating in the deception of its customers, OnlyFans consciously and deliberately frustrates the agreed common purposes of the contract and disappoints the reasonable expectations of plaintiffs and class members, thereby depriving them of the benefit of their bargain.
No, good Lord. That's a lot of legalese. I'm glad you made it through all that.
Yeah. Creators may choose...
Are they getting the content they want, right? Are they really just subscribing to get the chats?
Mike, the guy is a chef hobbyist, and he wants to share pictures of his cooking creations.
Ever been on Pinterest? Yeah. Ever been on Instagram? Don't have to pay for those. If you just want polite conversation and some photos of your dishes that you've made.
In July of 2024, 5 OnlyFans users also filed a class action complaint against the parent company, claiming that, quote, chatter scams defrauded fans. And they said the judge said it would go to trial in 2027.
God, they have to wait that long to get to trial? Man, it's like the guy on the plane to Milan, an hour going at it. Where are we going to get some type of verdict or what's going on there?
Is it? I don't know, man. I don't know if it's sad. I don't know what it is. But these guys, I mean, they are so disillusioned with this that they are going to court because they didn't get to talk to the model they thought they were going to talk to.
It doesn't help their case.
No.
Correct. It doesn't help their case that if they're like, hey, if you don't talk to me, I'm going to sue. That doesn't help your case. I don't know how you end up there, but
I mean, you really gotta be really upset because you file a lawsuit. Now it's in the public record. Everybody knows that you are a subscriber to OnlyFans to share your cooking photos.
Likely excuse.
Yeah. And they are that upset that they've got to, we got to do something here. This is wrong. We got to do something.
We got to do the rest of the, aspiring chefs who want to interact with OnlyFans models.
Yeah.
Yikes. Here is a Stop It Science story before we get to Twismo.
Mm-hmm.
This is just absolutely freaking bonkers. Cutting-edge scientists have unveiled a disturbing plan to grow soulless, spare human bodies that can be used for medical experiments and even meat. Why are we jumping straight to meat in that particular equation?
Did he say?
I understand medical. Go ahead.
Did he say soulless?
Yes.
Okay.
Soulless, spare human bodies.
Spare.
So there's no consciousness in there. They're just built. They're just growing like bodies.
Mm-hmm.
No brain or anything, I guess. You don't want a zombie attack or anything along those lines. Going to have some medical experiments and maybe even meat. Why?
God bless.
The so-called bodyoids be grown in artificial wombs and have the eerie ability to withstand endless pain. Yeah.
What are we doing?
Why? Scientists Karsten T. Charlesworth, oh, that sounds fake.
Mm-hmm.
Karsten T. Charlesworth, Henry T. Greeley, and Hiromitsu Nakaguchi made their bizarre pitch in MIT Technology Review and explained why the Frankenstein-esque plan would revolutionize medicine. I'm afraid this is how every horror movie begins.
Yeah.
I'll be fine. It's a soulless body. It feels no pain. We can beat the crap out of it. It'll be okay. They said the zombie-ish bodies would be a key to testing out new medicines and growing human organs for transplants. Do you want that? Do you want a zombie, no brain like organ going through you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to sound like an old man here, but there was a time where if you needed a transplant and there weren't any around, you just didn't get one. You just couldn't have one. You just died.
Well,
sorry, we don't have a liver for you.
Right. Or try a pig one and see how long that lasts.
Right.
The plan would become a reality by using pluripotent stem cells, one of the earliest cell types to form during human development. The stem cells have already been used to grow organic matter and most recently helped to successfully create a structure that resembles a human embryo.
Mm-hmm.
Researchers hope to grow the fetuses entirely outside a body in artificial uteruses, which are already being tested in a lab. They plan on using genetic techniques to stunt brain production and ensure the body lacks sentience. Oh, because that's going to work.
Good Lord. Well, Frank,
stop it, science.
Yeah, Frank said it, and there's something about Soylent Green that I think we need to address. This is the trailer from the 1972 movie Soylent Green, and just see if something jumps out at you right here at the beginning.
New York City. In the year 2022.
That's the part that I wanted to focus on.
Oh my God, we're 3 years past Soylent Green. These people are late. My bad.
New York City,
keep at it, doctors.
In the year 2022. Nothing runs anymore. Nothing works. But the people are the same. And the people will do anything to get what they need.
This is the police.
What they need most is Soylent Green.
The supply of Soylent Green has been exhausted.
Apparently in the future, cops will wear football helmets.
Those are baseball helmets.
Oh, are they?
With masks in the front. By the way, could we intersplice Elon walking up on stage in a cheese head at this point? Be like, hey, how everyone doing? Having a good time?
Soylent Green.
The supply of Soylent Green has been exhausted. Return to your home.
Detective Sergeant Thorne. He has a 2-year backlog of unsolved murders. Now he's on a case that must be solved.
What is the secret of Soylent Green?
Why did you set up Simonson?
There's nothing running in 2022. There's a lot of things running in this trailer.
You will find out why.
That was a very elegant death.
Yeah, it really was. That was really very well choreographed. He didn't.
It was. I just happened to hang and hit a trampoline and then fall into something.
and he slid down the chain like it was the bat pole.
It was. Well, let me catch this.
No, I'm find out why Soylent Green means life. You will find out why Soylent Green means death.
We gotta stop him.
What is the secret of Soylent Green?
Trailers have come a long way.
They're making our food out of people.
This is the secret.
Next thing they'll be breeding us like
Sorry for the spoiler.
For food. You gotta tell them. You gotta tell them.
Promise, Tiger. I promise. I'll tell the exchange.
Tell everybody. Listen to me, Hatcher. You gotta tell them. Soylent Green is people. We gotta stop them somehow.
Get your damn hands off me, you damn dirty ape.
Yeah,
he was good for that. Heston always had a good.
It's like Hollywood sat back and said, well, I think we need another post-apocalyptic movie. Who can we get to star in this? Who would be perfect in that?
They need to just deliver one line with a lot of enthusiasm.
Mm-hmm.
I know. Charlton Heston. So, yeah.
So now it's happening, and they are going to make people that we can eat and harvest organs, and they will have no soul and feel no pain. That's where we are.
Yeah,
right
here.
now.
Mm-hmm. Researchers admitted their plan poses endless ethical questions, but stress the world of possibilities that could open up in the spare bodies of being developed. Yeah, just torturing these soulless, weird bodyoids, not great. But just think of us regular people, how we can use their organs and harvest them, as if they'll never rise up and become sentient at us.
Yeah, it is absolutely. Yeah, if fictional movies have done anything for us, they are there to be a clarion call to make sure we don't make these stupid mistakes.
Correct. The archetypes, please. So I don't want Soylent Aqua happening as a kind of green in our society now.
It's the time everyone waits for.
Yes.
This week.
I'm doing a skyjacking. That's how excited I am. Oh, you're pulling the truck nuts.
Yeah.
I'm doing the Milan to New York thing going on here. Yeah.
It's time for This Week in Slo-Mo, where we find some video that really does need to be brought down to 25% speed and analyze exactly what is going on in this video. So
this comes to us 2012 Olympics, right?
Yes.
Yeah, this is 2012 Olympics. This is a Cuban pole vaulter who has been training for how long for this wonderful moment in the Olympics, and it goes wrong in a really bad way real quick.
The pole vault in, we have Borges from Cuba, who's both groups are up to 5:35 now. Automatic qualifying is 5 meters 70. Oh my word! Look at that. The pole snapped, and he's come out of that unscathed. Nonchalantly picks up 2 parts of the pole. There's a third bit somewhere else. I hope it didn't hit an official. Wow, look at this. Just snapped about halfway down.
Good.
He's so lucky that that bit that flew off to the left didn't hit him. Oh my
Good Lord.
How scary is that?
He's also very lucky he didn't fall straight on his head.
Yeah, you're right.
That he had enough momentum that it launched him onto the mat, because it could have broke, pardon the pun, real bad for the Mr. Burris, I believe his name was.
That has to be so disorienting. You're going top speed. You are mentally, you're over the pole, and it just goes goofy on you. Let's watch this again in This Week in Slo-Mo.
Whoa. Good. Wow. Look at how close he was to landing on his neck.
Yeah.
And I didn't notice until the slow-mo there of how quickly the bottom part snapped back, and that could have hit him.
Yeah.
Look at that. Oh my.
Jesus.
Yeah. It really just buzzed him, because it broke once and then it broke again, and you see those two pieces go right underneath him as he's going,
as he's falling.
Oh my word! Look at that!
Now watch the little guy in green who's standing off to the side there too, because he knows he's in trouble too.
Oh yeah, he's like, oh,
yeah. That first thing that does a cartwheel could have come right up his back.
Yeah, or biffed him right in the face.
Yeah.
And then the part where the scary part too is just the way he's angled He is lucky he made it to that mat.
Yeah, his head hits the mat first, but just barely.
Right here. I mean, that could have whacked him right in the back of the head. And he just kind of goes limp, and he's helpless.
And that is what your family is left with. Everybody's excited watching you on the Olympics.
The country of Cuba has stayed up way past their bedtime. Everyone's at their local wherever waiting to see you do the pole vault. And the last visual they get is you spready to the gods with London 2012 in between your crotch.
That is what you get. My goodness.
Both groups are up to 5:35 now. Automatic qualifying is 5 meters 70. Oh my word, look at that. The pole snapped. And he's come out of that unscathed.
Yeah,
lucky dude.
It's crazy apparent when he. Let's see if I can stop it when he lands here. Yeah. So look where his head is, which is just about where the pole is supposed to land. And if he had tumbled 4 inches forward, he would have gone straight down in there. That would have been ugly.
Yeah, it would have been very ugly. What is the bigger snap, though? That or Bertrand, the skier, when he got hit right in the balls?
No, I think Yannick Bertrand's.
Both of those snaps.
I think Yannick Bertrand's snap was pretty wicked, because this one didn't hit him in the balls, in the truck nuts.
Right, exactly. Not right in the old truck nuts. Poor SOB. Just oof. God bless. Yeah, he is so close to just biffing it.
It's like folded up like a sandwich.
That poor guy. I don't know how he ends up on the mat.
Yeah.
It's some type of miracle he ends up on the mat. Just the way he was angled and everything, and just even that right there, how he ends up falling forward instead of even flipping back, is even in of itself miraculous.
Do you think at some point though he was saying, "I think I can still pull this out. I think if I just angle myself, I still might be able to." He was still processing it.
I think I think halfway through he thought he may still be able to make it.
Mm-hmm. Oh Jesus. Okay, the monkey line is ringing again.
Do we want to wrap? Do we want to wrap with the monkey line?
I think this is probably the best way to end the show. Let's go to the monkey phone. Hello, you're on with Mike and Molson.
All right, let's end it. It's something I haven't seen, and I really don't want to be mean, but I think you should know that let's end the show. I think he ruptured his spleen.
Bring it home. Bring it home.
That was worth staying on a couple extra minutes. Nothing wrong with that.
Trifecta of limericks. Love it.
See how easy it is to be a part of this show? All you have to do is call in on the monkey line when we're on the air here, 707.
Or comment wherever you're watching from. Frank had some dynamite comments today. Yeah, comment. Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
Now Twitch. We were experimenting with Twitch tonight, and so if you're a Twitch person, you can watch us over there on Twitch as well. We're back again next week, 6 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Central, right here on Mike and Molson on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and wherever the hell else you want to